Hi, I'm Liz Stewart, and you're watching Ken Boxer Live on TVSB. This is Ripley. Vote blue for her future. I think she pooped.
Terry Riker Realtor proudly presents Ken Boxer Live. From the American Riviera in Santa Barbara, California, it's Ken Boxer Live, Santa Barbara's one and only entertainment talk show. Let's welcome the host of the show, Ken Boxer.
Thank you. Wow. Thank you very much. I'm Ken Boxer, and this is Ken Boxer Live. You know, for the last probably 5 shows, we've been inviting Ellen DeGeneres to come and sit here. And let's see, I always brought this out. So, Ellen, here's a picture. We want her here, right? Ellen, maybe this is our 85th show, everybody. Maybe on the 100th show she'll come. Maybe. Let's work on it. Let's get Ellen here, right? Ellen, all right. Okay, Ellen. You've been invited many times. We've got to get you on the program. But tonight on our show, I'm very happy to have her here. She's very busy, really, literally one of the funniest comedians in show business today. She's very, very busy. We have her here in Santa Barbara. The very funny and talented Liz Stewart is with us. So, stay with us. We'll be back right after this.
Ken Boxer Live is brought to you by the following sponsors. Palazzo Italian and Restaurant, where people don't leave there hungry or thirsty. Gustafson Dance, meeting the highest standards in dance training. The Eagle Inn, a family-owned hotel near the beach in Santa Barbara. And now, back to our show.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you. Welcome back. Joining us tonight is simply one of the funniest comedians in show business today. We have with us tonight Liz Stewart, everybody. Yes, and Liz is also is involved in a film with LeVar Burton, which we'll get to later this half hour. So let's welcome one of the funniest, as I said, comedians in the United States and around the world. We have Liz Stewart. Thank you. Thank you so very much. Have some more of the champagne.
I
know.
Nicer things. Thank you. Hey, Ellen, you've got to come here, girl. They give you champagne. You're half a block away. We could walk to your house, really. If you don't come on the show, Ken and I are going to show up on your lawn, and we're going to do that say anything scene. You got to come here, baby.
How are you?
I am fantastic. That is my baby. If you hear crying, that's my little toddler. Her name's Ripley, and she's the most adorable baby in the whole wide world.
And she's so cute.
She's so cute. She might scream mama and run up, and that's okay. Oh, it's okay.
Oh, she's absolutely adorable.
Give her a cookie. She's so sweet.
Absolutely adorable.
Like 10 feet away from her, and you're like, oh, my ovaries, you know?
I want to know history. I didn't mention this in the intro, but you were with Second City in Chicago. Is that where you got your training in comedy?
No, I got that by being raised poor in a bad neighborhood. And if you don't want to get mugged, you diffuse the situation.
I want to say serious. I have a feeling I'm going to have to be saying, but seriously.
No, but seriously, we were poor. But seriously, you know, and also when you're tiny, because I was like the runt, you know, I was like a tiny tiny little, girl that nobody was afraid of, and poor on top of that, you better learn martial arts and comedy, or you're gonna be
Which
dead.
would you learn first, comedy or martial arts?
I don't know. Started martial arts when I was 8, and I started comedy when I was in 1st grade. So probably comedy first.
Were you the class clown, if you will, when you were in school?
Yeah, but like a respectful class clown. Like I didn't make fun of the teacher or anything because like I respect learning, and really education is the way out of being poor. So like I respect school, and I respected my teachers unless they were idiots. And oh, I got a ding! I got a bell. It said that if you hit the bell, it's a little risque. And I was like, if I hit the bell, that means that I win.
That's right.
So I win.
Okay. Were your parents, supportive of you in comedy early on?
Oh yeah. My parents were they're a couple of nut jobs, and like comedy was really how I like dealt with everybody else in school, and it was like I think it was like the reason my calling. Like when I was a kid, I was like a runt, and I didn't have like the best upbringing. Not to bring the room down, but when I went to school, like I was the belle of the ball. I was smart, and I was funny, and I wasn't like gorge, but like so cute, right? And so like yeah, comedy, man, it saved my life, really, Yeah. And
well, how did you get from? You were in Texas at one point?
Yeah, born in Houston, Texas.
Okay, and then you went to Chicago. I want to know how you got to Chicago's second city, the comedy.
Well, I was at University of Houston, and I was like, one of the professor that I respected the most was like, you've got to get out of here because women have a shelf life. And you've got to go. You got to go chase your dream. And I was like, all right, I will. And so I auditioned for Second City, and I got into their conservatory. And then I had never been to Chicago before. Before I went, I flew there to audition, right? And I got into the conservatory, and then I was like, all right, I'm moving. And I packed up my stuff, and I was in sweatpants and a sports bra when I was loading the U-Haul. And then I drove up, and I'd never seen snow before. And I got out of the car in November, and it was snowing, and I was like, dear God, what have I done? It's so damn cold, And that was when there was a big blizzard that came in, and I made snow angels, and the cats came to the windows, and they were like, it's all right. And the cats came to the windows, and they saw me making snow angels, and it was a really, really good time for the 4 years that I was there doing improv, and that's where I started doing stand-up. And then I would find myself yelling at the wind during the winter because it's so damn cold.
Okay.
And I'm from Houston. I got that thin blood.
Well, you brought with you a clip. We have 2 clips tonight, but what are we about to see? Can you lead us into the first one?
Okay, first one is from my new comedy special, I'm Crowning, now available on Amazon and Vudu and Steam and Xfinity and iTunes, so please watch it because diapers cost money. I need that money. And this is, it's the promo for I'm Crowning that I filmed when I was 8.5 months pregnant.
Wow. Okay, well, let's watch. Okay, Liz Stewart, let's watch.
Look what we did. Oh! #1 cause of death among pregnant women is murder. That's something they won't tell you on the pro-life billboards. I'm 8.5 months pregnant. Being pregnant is great if you like vomiting constantly and not doing cocaine anymore. I I have had 3 baptisms and 2 exorcisms. I was never actually possessed by the devil. I was just a woman in the South with an opinion, and that needs to be stopped. I might be too much of a feminist because whenever I hear of a lady who's a serial killer, I always think the same thing. I always think, you go, girl. You can be anybody you want to be. In the event that my water breaks, everyone on the front row has a splash guard.
Liz Stewart, everybody, that's funny stuff.
Thank you.
Where do you get your material? Where does it come from?
My demented brain, experiences,
Right.
and just like observing the world, you know. So
Did
and
you
also,
always have that talent?
yeah. I kind of came out of the womb going, okay, what's going on over here? What's going on over here? What's funny about this? What are you doing over here? What's this? What's this? What's this? What's this? No. You take that back.
You know, doing some history on women in comedy, I saw Jerry Lewis being interviewed, and he had, I don't know if you're aware, he said that comedy was not for women.
Yeah, I'm aware he said that.
What's your response to, like, here, you know, people called him the king of comedy.
Well, he's dead now, so who won?
So now you can talk freely. Now you can say anything you want.
Well, I think that the notion of that stereotype is perpetuated by dinosaurs that are going extinct, and Jerry Lewis is dead, and I'm still alive. So who's telling jokes? Yeah.
Now, what we just saw, those clips, how long would that take you to create?
Oh,
What we just saw, that minute of what we just saw, how long would it take for you to just do a minute of comedy, to rehearse it, or was that all improv we just saw?
Oh, well, those were cuts from a special that's like 45, 50 minutes. And they say, like, for every minute that you do on stage, there's 10 hours that goes into it. So...
Is that for you as well?
If I'm being professional, yes. But you know, like you in stand-up, you try out your jokes. You're like, oh, I've got an idea. It's like currently I'm working on a joke about how like members of the GOP always remind me that like somewhere there's a plantation that's missing a ghost. And so now I'm working on like, oh, you know, like, yeah, we can vote them all out, but how you really get rid of Orrin Hatch is like, you get some sea salt blessed by a Catholic priest. And while he's on the Senate floor lamenting about how you can't hit your wives in public anymore, you circle him, you put him in a circle, and then you burn your candle. So I'm trying it for the first time tomorrow at Akbar, Drunk on Stage in Silver Lake in Hollywood. It's going to be so much fun. It's like such a great room. Like Wanda Sykes always comes through. Like it's just like top-notch talent. So in this, like I workshop it, right? I give it 3 times before I say, okay, I'm going to back burner this, or I'm going to really, really double down into this. So like you're like, okay, what's funny about this? Okay, like when I first thought of it, I was like, Orrin, who names their kid Orrin? And like Lindsey Graham, and Jefferson Beauregard Sessions, like who are naming these people, and like they're just walking around being like, oh, you know, I really don't think women should be allowed to talk in public and escorted, and they like act like they're owning a plantation. They're like, oh, black people don't need to be kneeling during these games. They just need to be glad that they're on the field, right? And so I'm like, so I'm like, how do I turn this into a joke? Plus, I love ghosts. So I was like, okay, so how do you get rid of a ghost? Like you can get like a chaos magician. You can get a demonologist. These guys are probably going to require a physically imposing male medium to set their spirits free and let them know that they need to go. Because if a woman tells them, hey, you guys are ghosts, you got to get out of here, they're going to be like, no, we don't. You don't know what you're talking about. You're being hysterical right now. Oh. So like, that's how I do my stuff. I'll workshop it. I'll see how it goes. You guys were great. Thank you for giving me a lot of input on it. And
does your
I'm trying.
husband, Cooper Barnes, give you feedback on the jokes? You run it by him first.
Yeah. In fact, the reason why Cooper and I give Cooper a big hand. He's right here.
He's good.
Super sexy. He plays a superhero on Nickelodeon's Nickelodeon's Henry Danger. Why did I say Kid Danger? Because I'm bad with names, and it's true. This is my first and a half. But yeah, super sexy. And one of the reasons why we're together, I love you, is because I was friends with his brother, like from another brother. And I would always be like, hey, Mike, I got a joke. What do you think about blah, 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 blah? And he's like, it is too early in the morning, stop talking to me. Until I've had my coffee. And he was like, give me 1 hour, because we worked together. He was like, give me 1 hour, and then we can talk. And then like it would turn 10 o'clock, because he got there at 9, and I'd be like, Mike! Mike, I've got 8 jokes I need to run past you. And then he was like, oh God, you're such a spaz, but in a lovable, delicious way. And then he introduced me to Cooper, because he's a spaz in a lovable and delicious way also.
Yeah.
So
2 entertainers in the home,
yeah,
under one roof.
I know. And
Is
that
it hard?
3.
Difficult to have
No.
2 entertainers?
No, in fact, like that's one of the reasons why we got together. That's like how we met, you know. We did a comedy group together, and he saw me doing stand-up, and he was like, "Oh, I want her to be in my comedy group." After Mike had introduced us, and what's crazy is that like when we met, I mean, he's obviously an attractive guy, but I was so over dudes, you know. Like, I was just like...
All the women in our audience are all, yeah, right.
Right? I was so over
hear.
dudes. I was like, you know, yeah, I can sport... Can I say...
We'll see. We'll see what happens.
But I'm kind of like, oh, I'm just gonna do me, you know? And then we got to know each other, and then I gave him a hug, and he was like, "Oh, with my skinny little arms," and I was like, "You don't have skinny little," oh my God, right? And it was just this like, bonk, you know, like
You're
solid.
talking about his arms.
His arms.
Okay. Thank you. You have another clip.
Oh, okay.
Lead
this
us into
is
that one.
when I did Stand Up and Deliver. I think I'm just talking about how trashy my family is, which is completely historically accurate. So.
All right. Liz Stewart, everybody, let's watch.
I'm dating a guy. He's great. He's great. His family's great. His family's from England. My family's from Texas. So they're a little too great. Like the better than my family great. I'll give you an example. His mom runs an animal rescue site that helps border collies find loving, adoptive homes. That's nice, right? My mom thinks because she banged a black guy once, she can use the N-word. There's the difference. It's a stark contrast. I come from trash. I hail from trash. I did that joke, and a friend of mine who came to see me, he said, "You know what I like about watching you? You're not afraid to be ugly." Well, that's just great, because apparently you're not afraid to be stabbed. Now, to close on this, A lot of guys say that they want a lady in the street and a freak in the bed. But I like to be unpredictable. That's why I'm a freak in the street and a lady in bed. So sure, I may push a shopping cart full of cans down Sunset Boulevard while yelling at cars. But if I ever do give a BJ, I'm sure to lift the pinky. Thank you guys so much from Liz Stewart. Enjoy the rest of your evening of comedy.
Oh, that's funny stuff.
Thank you. And it's some of the stuff I can't show my mother-in-law because I like her and I want her to continue to like me.
How much of comedy is acting? I know you have an acting background, so how much of that do you incorporate into your comedy?
Well, probably about 25% if you want to look at it from a mathematical perspective. Because like with comedy, like joke construction, there's like your premise plus your point of view, or like your subject plus your point of view equals premise, right? Plus a punchline, act out, punchline, tag. Or you can vary all of those stuff. I like the act outs. And I just got so comedy nerd on all of you guys that nobody knows what I'm talking about. But yeah, yeah, it's like probably like 25% is acting, and also like being cool with like the audience, because like in acting you're acting with another person, right? And the camera's like over there, and then when you're doing stand-up comedy, it's like the people with whom you're speaking, it's like you're having a conversation. Like you guys aren't allowed to talk. I'm doing all the talking, but we're still having a conversation. So like I hear like if a joke tanks, I have to acknowledge it before we can move on.
You know? On stage, you'll acknowledge it on stage.
Of course, because nobody wants to be. Have you ever been to a show where like you see somebody and they're not doing well, and they're just like, I am doing so great right now. You know what I mean? And it's like you're lying to the audience. Like you know when you're sucking it up. You know, like you know when that happens.
Sure.
And I think the audience appreciates when you're like, hey man, that sucked.
Have you ever had, as a performer, a situation where you have forgotten whether you've said the joke before?
Yes.
And you said it twice?
Yes. Yes. It was like my first year of comedy, and I had tequila. And that's why I don't drink tequila before shows.
But you do champagne.
Oh, yeah. Because champagne won't make me forget my jokes or kick a security guard in the face.
Do you ever find it difficult to write the jokes, the material? Does it flow for you, or is it very difficult?
It depends on what the joke is, because they're all my children. Like some jokes, like they show up and they're like, I'm fully realized. Here's the subject. Here's your point of view. Here's how it's gonna go. Blah 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 blah. And then there's other jokes where you're like, oh, I write it on like one word on a scrap of paper, and I throw it in this bucket, and then like once a week, I'll take a look in that bucket and be like, all right, what goodies do you have for mommy? You know, or I'll say it into my phone, and then I'll look through and be like, oh, what was I thinking when I wrote that? You know, or I'll be like, all right, come on, little birdie, it's ready to fly. Leave the nest, little joke. You know, and then they'll fly or they'll die.
Do that again, I like that.
Leave the nest, little joke. No, baby bird the joke. Oh.
You're almost getting another one.
Do it. Thank you.
All right. You're involved with a show, a film with LeVar Burton. Can you give us a little bit of information about that, how you're involved with that?
Well, it's about a woman who is stalking him. It's called Stalking LeVar. And I play like the bookstore owner where she meets him. So I'm gonna be able to do my acting chops in that. You know, we haven't had the first read through, so I'm like, oh, am I really confrontational? Am I really easygoing? I don't know. There's so many choices, so I'm just glad to be a part of it. And yeah, and I can't wait to meet LeVar Burton and like put like a headband around my eyes and be escorted from set. You know.
You are
for
crazy.
yelling things at him.
You are very crazy.
Thank you.
When that camera hits, the light's on you. It's like, bam. You just are you always funny? Are you always funny? Maybe I should ask Cooper that.
Oh yeah,
I'm
I'm either hysterical or tragic. Oh.
There goes the
I'm
family
either
show.
hysterical or tragic, you know, because I'm highly emotional, you know, and I don't shy away from it. I think it's my gift, you know. I am either like the sunniest disposition person that you ever want to be around.
Oh, sir. Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Or I'm like, oh, the world is falling apart. Let's get some shots.
Is there any humor that you would shy away from doing? And we only got about a minute left. Would you avoid any type of humor?
The only humor that I think is off limits is humor that punches a group of people or somebody who's already has it bad. You know, that's like in comedy, if you want a good joke, you always punch up. You speak truth to power. You don't pick on oppressed groups. If they're oppressed, try to lift them up, you know? That's why I like comedy about like every now and then you'll see some guy who wants to be really edgy and he'll do a joke about rape survivors. And I'm like, yo, dude, why don't you meet me out in the parking lot? We're gonna see who survives what.
And politicians are fair game.
Depending on who they are. Like if they got a bomb sent to them this week, no, I'm not gonna be making a joke about it.
Everybody, Liz Stewart. Yes. That's our show for tonight. So for our guest Liz Stewart and for director Nick Ferretti and the entire KBL crew, I'm Ken Boxer. Good night, everybody, and thank all of you. Thank you.
Beto O'Rourke! Beto O'Rourke! It's sexy!
Ken Boxer Live is brought to you by the following sponsors. Terry Ryken, your broker with a personal touch for all your real estate needs. Gustafson Dance, meeting the highest standards in dance training. Giovanni's Pizza, the best pizza in Santa Barbara. The Lovin' Spoonful, yogurt at its finest. The Daily Grind, espresso, juice, and deli. Spud Nuts Donuts. Palazzo Italian Restaurant, where people don't leave there hungry or thirsty. The Eagle Inn, a family-owned hotel near the beach in Santa Barbara. Petrini's Family Restaurant. La Quinta Inn and Suites. Country Catering, Meat Market and Deli. Lito's Takeout. Jack's Bagels and Bistro. The Ken Boxer Live musical theme composed and arranged by Mr. Michael J. Leslie. From all of us at Ken Boxer Live, I'm Baron Ron Heron. Good night, everyone.